industrial system has inflicted on our community. I believe this is happening to us. So America would never do a thing like this to us.
There are certain technical words within every academic discipline that soon become stereotypes and cliches. Modern psychology has a word that is probably used more than any other word in modern psychology, and it is the word maladjusted. And certainly we all want to avoid the maladjusted life. But I say to you, my friends, that there are certain things in our nation and in our world which I am proud to be maladjusted, and which I hope all men of goodwill will be maladjusted. I say very honestly that I never intend to become adjusted to segregation and discrimination. I never intend to become adjusted to religious bigotry. I never intend to adjust myself to economic conditions that will take necessities from the many to give luxuries to the few. I never intend to adjust myself to the madness of militarism and to self-defeating effects of physical violence. But in a day when Sputniks and explorers are dashing through outer space and guided ballistic missiles are carving highways of death through the stratosphere, no nation can win a war. It is no longer the choice between violence and non-violence. It is either non-violence or non-existence. The alternative to disarmament. The alternative to absolute suspension of nuclear tests. The alternative to strengthening the United Nations and thereby disarming the whole world may well be a civilization plunged into the abyss of annihilation. This is why I welcome the Test Ban Treaty. You see, in other words, I'm about convinced now that there is a need for a new organization in the world. The Internal Association for the Advancement of Creative Maladjustments. That's men and women who will be as maladjusted as the prophet Amos, who in the midst of the injustices of his day could cry out in words that echo across the centuries, "Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." As maladjusted as Abraham Lincoln, who had the vision to see that this nation would not survive half slave and half free. As maladjusted as Thomas Jefferson, who in the midst of an age amazingly adjusted to slavery would scratch across the pages of history words lifted to cosmic proportions. We know these truths to be self-evident, that they are endowed by their Creator certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as maladjusted as Jesus of Nazareth, who could say to the men and women of his day, "Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, pray for them that despitefully use you." You see, through such maladjustment, I believe that we will be able to emerge from the bleak and desolate midnight of man's inhumanity to man into the bright and glittering daybreak of freedom and justice. My faith is that somehow this problem will be solved. In spite of the difficulties of this hour, I am convinced that we have the resources to make the American dream a reality. You see, I am convinced of this because I believe that Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. I am convinced of this because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth pressed to earth will rise again. Somehow, with this faith, we will be able to adjourn the couches of despair and bring new life into the dark chambers of pessimism. You see, with this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. This will be a great day. This will be the day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will all